The Hong Kong Alliance in Support of Patriotic Democratic Movements of China is a pro-democracy organization that was established on the 21st of May 1989 in the then British colony of Hong Kong during the demonstration for the students' protest in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. After the 4th of June massacre, the organization's main goals are the rehabilitation of the democracy movement and the accountability for the massacre. The main activities the organization holds are the annual memorials and commemorations, of which the Candlelight Vigil in Victoria Park is the most attended, reported and discussed event each year. Due to its stance, the central government in Beijing considers the organization subversive. Increased pressure by Hong Kong authorities, believed by observers to have been prompted by the central government, gave rise to speculations in August 2021 that the alliance would disband as other pro-democracy organizations had done. 4 members of the alliance, including Vice Chairwoman Chow Hang-tung, were arrested on the 8th of September after it had rejected a request by police to cooperate in an investigation into it allegedly acting as an agent for foreign forces, a crime under the Hong Kong national security law. The alliance has 5 operational goals. In 1989, the sudden death of the former General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, an umbrella organization of the local pro-democracy activists decided to hold a demonstration at the Victoria Park and march to the headquarters of New China News Agency. On the 21st of May during the No. 8 typhoon signal, more than 1 million people marched in the street in support of the Tiananmen protests. The Hong Kong Alliance in Support of Patriotic Democratic Movements of China was founded during the march. On the 4th of June 1989, the Beijing government bloodily suppressed the peaceful protest after the massacre. Delegates from more than 200 civil groups elected a 20-member standing committee headed by Situ Wah and Martin Lee to hold the subsequent commemorations and actions. The alliance helped the Operation Yellowbird, providing shelters and financial assistance in helping smuggling leaders of the democracy movement out of China. The alliance also set up a database of the democracy movement and published works related to the movement. It also maintained close relationship with the Tiananmen Mothers initiated by Ding Zilin, a group of family members of those who were killed in the massacre, which vocally supported the democracy movements in China. State-run People's Daily accused the alliance of having intention to overthrow the Chinese government. Situ and Lee, who were members of the Hong Kong Basic Law Drafting Committee, were unseated by Beijing after the duo resigned from the committee after the massacre. The annual Candlelight Vigil at the Victoria Park, among other activities, has been the most iconic event organized by the alliance, as it is the most attended consecutive commemoration of the 1989 protests. Tensions were high in 1996, which marked the 7th anniversary of the Tiananmen massacre. Residents were not sure whether or not the annual demonstration would continue after the upcoming 1997 sovereignty handover of Hong Kong to the People's Republic of China. The 8th anniversary, in 1997, was just before the handover. People in the demonstration speculated that it might turn out to be the last vigil. In 1997, then Chief Executive-elect Tung Chee-hwa attempted to pressurize Situ into not organizing the vigil, and Situ refused to speak to Tung ever again after 3 such attempts. As the protests were largely censored in mainland China, the alliance was one of the main sources of both the mainland and the local people to learn about the event. On the 20th anniversary of Tiananmen Square protests of 1989, the alliance recorded a dramatic increase in number of the attendees of the vigil, which was largely due to attendees from the young generation. A year before, the alliance also organized events and protests in support of the Charter 08 movement, launched by mainland democracy activists such as Liu Xiaobo. After Situ Wah, the alliance's founding chairman, died in 2011, the chairmanship was occupied by Lee Chuk-yan. In 2014, the alliance opened the 4th of June Museum, the world's first memorial museum for the Tiananmen protests. In 2014, Albert Ho took over from Lee as the alliance chairman until 2019, when the post was again taken up by Lee. The number of attendees kept at a high level until in recent years the emergence of the localist movement challenged the meaning of commemorating the Tiananmen protests, as some young localists perceived themselves as non-Chinese and disagreed with one of the goals of the alliance: build a democratic China. Such a view was held by localist scholar Qin Wan, who believed that the Chinese nationalistic sentiment and patriotism the alliance projected was an obstacle for Hong Kong people to construct a distinct identity. Some others see